There's something eerily beautiful about the fog tonight. The only problem with that is you never really know what's in the fog.
We've just arrived in Aberdeen, Maryland. And he was right. You never know what's in the fog. And by that, I mean we've arrived at Legends of the Fog. As you can see, this is not a normal video for us. You're in our hotel room with us. Bow, chicky, wah, wah, no. So we couldn't film inside any of the houses for you guys because they didn't want us to do that. We could film up to the entrance and then basically give you guys a review of what we thought of each house.
Right.
And we couldn't necessarily do that there at Legends of the Fog because in the Midway that they have, there is contemporary music playing, and of course, you know how YouTube is copyright. So
You one of them.
we were like, we'll just wait until we get back to the room, and then we'll talk about all the things. Tonight was the opening night for Legends of the Fog, and as of time of recording this, it is September 27th. So we did get out there the very first night. It was our first time visiting that, so first time experiencing everything there.
Yep.
Initially, whenever you come into the gate, you purchase a ticket, and you can get a ticket for all 4 attractions, I think for $40. And you can add a fast pass on top of that if you want to go through like their express or VIP line, whatever they call it. And if you opted to I don't want to do the hayride, you can buy another ticket that only gets you into the houses. Or if you wanted to only do the hayride, you can buy a ticket for just the hayride. So they have many different options as far as ticket, but you'll get this ticket and you'll need to get it scanned at each house you go into. And they recommend that you start with the hayride first off because it's the first attraction that closes.
Yep.
Now, as far as their Midway, whenever you come in, they have tons of stuff to do there.
Oh, yeah. A lot of stuff. They had like knife throwing. They had like a zombie looking thing on a spinning wheel. And then what they call the coffin ride. All I saw was somebody looked like somebody laying in a coffin. It was like looked like an infrared camera almost, because you could see it.
I didn't even see that.
You could see it from the outside, like a little TV screen. And
I guess it's kind of like a buried alive thing.
I guess so, because I mean it looked like a infrared camera, but I saw somebody like laying in it, and it sounded like it was like maybe shaking and moving or having dirt thrown on it. I don't know. I didn't get to do it, but it looked pretty cool. It looked like something you could do. And they had a couple other games. They had axe throwing there. There was a third party thing, vendor.
There were several photo ops around for you to take a picture.
Right.
And a couple of scare actors walking around that were interacting with the crowd. So that's one plus.
Yeah, because when you're in a Midway and you're the scare actor that's supposed to be working that area, like, it's always good to see when they're interacting with people, and not just like, oh, let me just walk around and look at you or point something at you and just keep walking. And like, they don't try to talk, they don't try to scare you, they don't try to take photos, or if somebody like us is videoing it, they don't interact with the camera. They just kind of stop and look, and then they just keep walking. Like, to me, that's boring. But they weren't doing that here, which is good. So,
because I feel like if you are a scare actor that's working a Midway, it's important that you kind of have that outgoing personality. Because I don't have that outgoing personality. I'm not going to approach you. I need you to approach me. So
right.
they did have a huge area that had a good bonfire. So
that was
if
a
you
nice
were like,
bonfire.
you wanted to chill out by that. I saw a couple of trailers with food. I'm not really sure like the options they had there because
I know I
didn't
saw.
get over there.
I think just walking by it, I saw funnel cakes, corn dogs, and then they had a snack shack on top of the actual food vendor there.
And then, of course, you had a merch booth where you could go and purchase, their T-shirts. They had some from previous years, and they actually have a new design for this year that we will show you after we talk about the houses. So we took the advice and we went on the hayride first. This is our third hayride that we've done. We've done one at Field of Screams and then one at Shocktoberfest. I will say, as far as this hayride, I think it has a lot of room and potential to grow. There were a lot of good scenes set up and a lot of places that made me laugh. Like the first scene that we went into, the lights kind of went down, and this guy, came onto the trailer with us. And when I tell you, like, he did you play a Magic Mike? Because
full-blown Magic Mike.
that's what I felt like I was watching.
Yeah. Full-blown. He did the knee slide, brought all the hay from the back into about the middle of the trailer. And I'm like, and it was a full-blown Magic Mike slide. And then he kind of arched his back and everything. And I'm like, yeah, okay.
Let's see what else. I think the opening part for me was really good. Like they had like these pumpkins like set up, and it was like the colors were like really popping and a lot of fog, and it was like this thing like floating over with a pumpkin head, like telling you the story and stuff. I thought that was really
that
unique.
was very nice. Like, it's a good way to open it up. I also like the two talking pumpkin heads they had up on where the sign was that said Haunted Hayride. You couldn't really hear what they were saying, but you could see the mouth moving, almost like they were conversing back and forth with each other. That was pretty cool. And they did have a few spots where I felt like, I don't know if it was something that they were just trying to fill the dead spot between the main hayride attractions, but I felt like some of them, you could have turned that into something, like the one that looked like, I think it was where it looked like a hollowed out ship, and then you had like the water spurting up on the sides and everything. Like, I felt like that because we just kind of rolled through that and didn't even stop. I mean, it had some characters out there that would scream and everything, but I felt like that, especially with like the water that was shooting up on each side and making noise, like they could have really turned that into another stopping point.
After we left the hayride, so the houses are set up like once you enter the first one, it basically like dumps you out at the next one. So you're doing the next three houses kind of back to back. Now, I think there is an option, like if you don't want to do like a particular house, they can like go ahead and scan your ticket and just take you to the next house you want to do. So the second one we went through was their haunted hotel. Oh God. The outside, like, I was like, wow, this is like really cool because they had like the hotel sign over there, and they had like the old school car sitting there, and you had somebody like the bellhop or somebody meeting you outside the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And I really wish we could have been able to film it because there were so many details in this house.
Oh, yeah.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, it had that, well, an older haunted mansion meets the Hollywood Tower Hotel for Hollywood Studios, where it's got that old rundown and ain't been open in a while. Got the cobwebs and the walls kind of peeling off and everything, where you're like, this is some really good detailed work. Like, just to be an opening scene, like right when you walk in, it felt like you put a lot of detail in this opening scene. Like, what's the rest of this haunted house going to look like if just the opening scene is this detailed? It was nice.
And so my only complaint as far as the entrance to going in to the house was because we were behind another group, probably like 6 people.
Yeah, 6 or 7 of them.
And they asked us like how many were we? So we were like 2. So they're like, okay, go in with them. And so I think when you go into the house, because I only caught like bits and pieces of this, I think it's a really character-driven storyline house. Like, because right there in the front, you have this front desk worker, and she's sitting there like talking, but which we couldn't hear it because we were stuck behind this other group. So she kind of like tells you, go on or whatever, and then like another character picks you up, and then they're like, okay, get on the elevator. And the elevator part was really cool.
Yeah, that was a nice touch. You get in there and it looks like the elevators itself is just gonna fall down. It's so raggedy, but like the door is shut and it's 2 doors, and then you hear the ding and it starts going. Then all of a sudden he's like, the bellhop guy inside is like, there's too many people, and the whole thing starts like, it's not a little bit, like it's enough to where like if you're not up against the back edge where the handrail is, like I was right there at the door, I had to put my hand up on the wall and kind of brace myself because it's moving enough to where you're kind of like stumbling back and forth, and then
the lights go
off and coming back on, and the bellhop's moving around and everything. But that was a pretty freaking sweet touch.
Yeah, I
like that.
And another issue with if you get sent in with a group that you're not there with, because I tend to take my time in these houses. I mean, like if you're someone that likes the scenery, likes the details, you're gonna walk through wanting to look at everything in this house. And some people are not like that. They are terrified and they're wanting to get out. And that's
just
fine.
As fast as they possibly can.
But since that group was kind of walking faster than us, we were missing a lot of
story time.
Yeah.
Especially when they got to a part where one of the scare actors is going to interact with the group and tell them a little something or give them a little story or whatever. They were already at that point, heard it, and moving on by the time we came through. So it's like, we just missed that. Just had to kind of keep walking. And
yeah, I even had at one point had a door like shut on me because they thought that was the end of the group.
And we had one guy that I guess thought that was the end of the group because he's standing with his back to us, and like we stopped right behind him, and we were like, "Excuse me." And he had to like turn and didn't realize we were even standing there, like to let us by because he was still staring down the group we were supposed to be with, but they were just kind of blowing through it. So,
but yeah, that one was real good.
Yeah,
real good.
Yep.
And so when you come out of the hotel, you then therefore go to their I think it's called the Corn Stalker Maze. And I've never been through anything like that.
No, that was a good touch. Like, that was a first, for us out of all the haunted houses we've been. You can't see over the corn. It's taller than you are. And there's a path and it's literally just big enough for you. So you have like corn rubbing up against you on each side, and then at certain points it splits, and you don't know which way to go. And do you take your chance going this way, the wrong way? Does it loop around? And then sprinkled throughout this huge freaking corn maze is scare actors.
It's something that they took advantage of being so simple yet effective.
Yeah.
Because it honestly, like, since I've never actually walked through like a cornfield at night, it felt like a horror movie.
Yeah. Yep. Like you were in like a supernatural episode.
Yeah, because all you're doing, your mind's going back to all these things you've seen on TV of these people in these cornfields, and here you are by yourself because they did send just the two of us in. That was it. We were with nobody else. Yep. So here you are, and it's like quiet, and other than off in the distance you hearing some people scream or whatever, but it's foggy and you can't really see that much. And
it was a good touch. I enjoyed it. Like
he got it. Somebody got him twice.
And I told the guy too. I was like, "Congratulations, you're the first person in this haunted house." Well, all of them, even the hayride that got me, because he got me good. I actually had two people in that corn maze get me. So
yeah, and then one of them, because like since we weren't allowed to film, but we could film the outside, we were carrying the camera, and he was like, he got right up behind me, and he was like, "Are you a YouTuber?" And I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "I smell the shame on you."
See, that's what I like, is like the scare actors and actresses that like really they interact. Is it like not like the ones that are just reading a script or they memorize their certain few lines they're supposed to say every time a group comes in, but they actually feed off, like they say something to you and you say something back, and it's like, okay, well, I'm going to say this back, or I'm going to say that, So you come out of the corn maze if you survive it. If you survive all the horror that entails of going through that thing, you come out into a slaughterhouse. And they did the slaughterhouse, the waiting area, very well, because you're walking through this gated area, and it's literally a chute trough that built the exact same way you would herd cattle or sheep or goats or anything else through it, to be turned into meat.
The slaughterhouse to me was okay. Sensory overload almost.
Yeah.
Like it was a lot of strobe lights, but I'm not saying that in a bad way. Like since it was so many strobe lights, it was
it messes with your mind.
Yeah, and during the particular part I'm talking about with the strobe lights, there's like, it seemed like several scare actors in there. It just seemed like they were all around you. But there's like this fence set up, and like they're able to move it so they can separate you.
Yep.
He got separated, and he had to go off on an adventure by himself.
I was off on my own adventure. It was like Renee didn't want to go first, because normally I go first if I'm videoing, but since we weren't allowed to, I was like, you should go first. And, of course she backed out. But so I went first, and the guy separated me from the rest of the pack. And I was like, well, here I am. I'm off on my own little adventure. I'm just going to keep my head down and keep moving. Maybe I'll pop up and, with everybody else eventually.
So I made the corner, and I turned, and he was coming this way. And then another one is like, no, y'all go this way, and closes this. And we're in a pen.
Yeah.
And everybody else is just steadily walking on by. And he's like, what are you going to do now?
And at that point, like, several of them have surrounded the pen that we're in, and they're all like shaking it and screaming and squealing and everything. And you got the strobe lights flashing. So what could have only been 3 or 4 scare actors,
It looks like a lot. It feels like a lot.
Yeah, like there's 20, 30 of them around you because it's foggy in there along with the strobe light, to the point to where eventually we were able to get out. Like, I had to walk with my head down, like looking at the ground, because it was such a sensory overload that whenever I looked up, all I saw was white and fog and strobes, and I didn't know which way to go. So I had to like look at the floor and actually find my way out.
And another thing I'll say about the house, like I said with the hotel, like how I love details. And I gotta say, that's probably one of the most grotesque houses I have ever seen as far as the details and what some of these characters were doing. Like, with the props they had.
Yeah.
It was bloody, nasty, and I loved it.
It's a good time. If it's bloody and nasty, you're going to have a good time.
Legends of the Fog is definitely one that you do not need to skip over. So they gave us like a gift for coming out and checking them out.
That's the new shirt.
So this is the new design that I got. It has this on the front of it. And then on the back,
it's got their new creature,
which was pretty cool. And so, you know, I made him pick one design. I was like, look, I know you want to be like me, but we're not getting this.
I made you pick first.
So this is their old design.
I like the zombie on the back. It was really nice. Really nice touch. Now, they did have one that just said Legends of the Fog in white in their logo design. And then the other one was from, I think, a year or so ago. It was the drive-in, when they did the drive-in. And it was actually Patrick's Mustang with a bunch of, like, zombies and ghouls and stuff hanging out of it. It was
hard to decide.
Yeah. It was a good one too. And then they also had hats that said Legends of the Fog on it. They had beanies, they had hoodies, stickers, you know, a good variety of things.
So she also gave us these.
So purchase something if you go, okay.
I'm not really sure what's in them. She just kind of put them in the bag. So you're getting to see with us what we got, because we don't know.
Oh, yeah, she said something about a tumbler of glass.
So you got a glass, and it's got the name Legends of the Fog on there. Inside, we got a sticker.
Fog. Legends of the Fog. And
a
lanyard.
lanyard.
Nice.
We definitely were not expecting all this. Which was super nice of them.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, you know, like I said, this wasn't our normal type video. But, you know, at least you got to hear what our review on it.
It was good. If you're in the Maryland area, go check them out. I mean, you're not going to be disappointed at all. And even if you're not in the Maryland area and you would just like to make a little drive like we did, then come on up.
Just don't try to drive it, you know, like trying to like beat a hurricane.
Yeah, don't do that. Do not, Ricky. You're going to have a bad time if you try to outrun a hurricane. It sucks so bad. I don't think I've ever driven that long in that much rain and strong winds. It's like we were ahead of it, and then we pulled over just inside Virginia to go to sleep. And by the time we only got to sleep like 4 hours, but by the time those 4 hours were up, it was like it had caught us. And then now we were steadily trying to get back ahead of it and get out of the rain, and it never happened. I think there's like one area where it died off a little bit, and then it was right back. So, but we do hope everyone that lives in the Florida area where it hit, and even Georgia got bad too. We hope you guys are okay.
And North Carolina got flooded a lot too.
North Carolina got flooded bad. So if you were anywhere in the path of the hurricane came through, Helen or Helena, however you say it, we hope you're okay. We hope your family's okay. We hope your house and everything's okay. And we hope nothing bad happened to you. So we've been through our share of hurricanes, so we know how devastating they can be.
Yeah, we live close to the Gulf Coast.
Yeah.
So.
Been through a few. Well. Anything else? All right. Well, that does it for this video. Hope you enjoyed hearing us talk about it and give our insight and our scoops on it and our opinions. All right. Well,
we want to thank Patrick, definitely, and for letting us come out and say to all the scare actors that were at Legends of the Fog, you guys put on a good show.
Yep. We'll see you down the road at the next exit.
Keep it spooky.
Later.